So if you guys have been following The Flash this season, you know that since the mid-season finale, Thawne has been playing a part this season. In the most recent episode, episode 21, we found out that Cicada's dagger was actually dampening Thawne's powers in the future, and he sent Nora back in time so that she could get rid of the dagger, and that would never exist in the future, so it would never dampen his powers, so he could be set free. Recently, I watched a video talking about why this is actually a plot hole, and it actually got me thinking, but I think I've got an explanation, and the best part about it is that it calls back to something we learned a while back. It perfectly fits in the timeline, and it also makes Thawne's character a bit more interesting. So if you guys don't know Eric's Reloaded, I watch him quite often, and I like his opinions on the Arrowverse shows. Recently he made a video on how Thawne's plan is a plot hole. Basically, what he's saying is that the David Hirsch timeline, the original timeline, that David Hirsch dagger is supposed to dampen Thawne's powers. That timeline never exists. Thawne should never be imprisoned, and Nora going back in time shouldn't change anything, because when she goes back in time, she creates a new timeline. And it is a valid theory, it's a valid plot hole. But I think I've got the workaround for it. I'm not saying that he's hating on the show just to hate on it, and I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying that he's saying it because it's a valid plot hole, which I agree with, and I'm saying it because it's just a workaround to what he's saying. So, yeah, Basically, the way it works is, in Season 3, we learned that Barry's mother dying is always supposed to happen, because things around it, some things before, some things after, work in a way to create a fluid timeline, which is completely different from the Flashpoint world, because that world is different from ours, since we changed an event that was always supposed to happen. So what I'm trying to say is, what if Thawne being imprisoned is always supposed to happen? His imprisonment is cemented in the timeline. Here's how it works. Let me play out the timeline for you. Barry punches the satellite, okay, lives out his life. David Hirsch becomes Cicada and moves on, okay? Barry plays out the events of Crisis and eventually vanishes in 2024. The dagger eventually ends up in the hands of Iron Heights, wherever Thawne is being held. And in 2035, since we know in 2049 it's been 15 years since he's been spending, 2035, Thawne gets captured, the dagger starts dampening him, the David Hirsch dagger. Nora grows up without a father, learns she has speed, goes up against Godspeed, asks for Thawne's help. Thawne eventually does help her. She learns that Barry Allen was the Flash, and she's the Flash's daughter, and Thawne teaches her how to go back in time, but not for her benefit, for his own benefit. Nora goes back in time, punches the satellite instead of Barry creating the Orland Dwyer Cicada. And here's where things get interesting. Thawne knew going back in time would create a whole different timeline, so he planned out a whole new timeline, basically, that he could have predicted, but somehow he knew eventually what was going to happen. This puts him at a whole nother level, like predicting a whole timeline. A Cicada, that Orland Dwyer's Cicada, has a niece, which is Grace, eventually grows up, becomes Cicada, and she's always supposed to travel back in time, which is a time loop, and gets her uncle's dagger, because she never had it before, because it was dampening Thawne's powers. So Orland Dwyer's dagger is what is dampening Thawne in this timeline. And that's basically how the theory works. There's nothing much to it. It's just that Thawne is always supposed to be held captive, and a dagger, not the dagger, but a dagger is supposed to dampen his powers. Thawne's imprisonment is a cemented event in the timeline. And that's basically it for this video, guys. If you want more theories, if you want me to make more Flash videos, I'll make like a season 5 review probably, and talk about next week's finale, which I cannot wait for. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any future videos. And yeah, guys, I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a great day. Peace out.